Welcome to Los Angeles, California. Welcome to the Late Late Show. I'm your host, TV's Craig Ferguson. Please relax, sit down at home, take your pants off. It's a great day for America today, and I'll tell you why. I rode my motorcycle to work today. I love that. I rode my motorcycle to work. The bike I have is called an Indian Scout. I ride an Indian motorcycle. And I almost rode it yesterday, but yesterday was Columbus Day, and you don't want to be on the back of an Indian. It's insensitive, I think. You know what I'm saying? It's insensitive. I had to ride today because Dennis Hopper is on the show. And, Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper, who, of course, starred and directed the classic American film Easy Rider. And there's nothing cooler than Dennis Hopper on a motorcycle. Except maybe me on a motorcycle. No, trust me, Dennis Hopper is cooler than me on a motorcycle. I actually saw the movie Easy Rider when it came out at the Film Society at Cumbernauld High School in Scotland. This is the school I went to. I didn't break into another school and watch that. I did break into another school, but not to see that movie. That's a whole different thing. But I watched it on, we had this old movie projector, and we watched the movie on a sheet. We just hung a sheet up, and we watched the movie, and, the teacher had to change the reel every 20 minutes. Go, oh, yeah. These kids are smoking marijuana in this movie, but don't you people do that. Now, we're not condoning the use of marijuana, but we did notice that the Americans seem to have a lot of marijuana. But there was no marijuana in Scotland in the 70s is when I saw the movie. There was no marijuana there. Although it would have been better for us than what we had. At school, we were sniffing glue and licking toads. Licking toads. You can't get high licking the toads in Scotland, but the toads like it, so... You got to take them for dinner first and everything. But anyway, I had some hesitation about riding my motorcycle to work, because I think in my contract with CBS I'm not allowed to ride my motorcycle. I think, I'm not sure. I mean, we'll find out after tonight, I'm sure. But there are clauses like that in contracts. Like in the NBA, players aren't allowed to play basketball in the off-season in case they get hurt. And if I can't, toss to a commercial in the course of a regular conversation. If I'm on a bad day, I can't say, yeah, we'll be right back after these messages. I can't do that. Luckily, I can do it here. It was my dad, my father, that got me interested in motorcycling. My father rode one of the British ex-army bikes after the Second World War. Not the First World War, the Second World War. My dad did 2 years of his national service in Germany. And then he came back to Scotland and he worked as a telegram boy. These are before, it's before the emails and the iPods and everything. He was a telegram boy, and he used to ride a Royal Enfield motorcycle with a suicide gear shift. And they called it a suicide gear shift because you had to change the gears like that and then put your hand... The suicide gear, so that's what they called it. It was either, live or change gear. Take your pick. But my dad had loved the movie The Wild One. Which is a Marlon Brando movie where he is the leader of a motorcycle gang. It's the movie that has that line in it, what are you rebelling against, Johnny? And he says, what you got? Like that. That's a good line. If you haven't seen the movie, it's fantastic. This biker gang rides into a small town and goes to a diner and they're all rude to people and everything. It's wild. They're wild in that movie. I don't care what the specials are. Really? No, I don't care. I'm wild. I can't live by your rules, man. I don't want an omelette. Now, in the movie, it's very cool. The bikers look... Brando looks fantastic in the movie. He's got this... he's thin, and he's got this... What? Brando got fat. I know. That's not news. Anyway, he wears this... he looked great in the movie, and... He wore this leather jacket, and now my dad couldn't afford a leather jacket in Scotland. They had no money for a leather jacket. So my dad used to wear his post office uniform inside out. So that the lining would look shiny on the jacket, and used to ride around on that. And he couldn't afford a silk scarf to look cool on the bike, so they used to wear little tea towels. The little... To wear tea towels. That's it. Souvenir of Edinburgh. Just about here. Now, my dad has false teeth. He says he lost his teeth in a motorcycle accident Annie's Land Cross in Glasgow. You know Annie's Land Cross? It's just at the top of Byres Road. You know the one I'm talking about. Anyway, apparently, there's like one person in America who just went, yes! Yes, I do! And everyone else going, what? Anyway, apparently if you couldn't... This is like Dead Man's Curve, except there was no curve and no one had died there. But if you couldn't... if you couldn't take Annie's Land Cross at 80 miles an hour, you were a sissy poof, apparently. So my father said he did it a couple of times, then he wiped out, lost his teeth. My mother says he lost his teeth because he didn't brush them. I'm not sure... Not sure... It's one of the many legends from my house. I'm not sure what to believe. Truth is, though... I think I do know who to believe, but I want to believe my dad.